Hi everyone, this is Sarfraz from Aristotle Prep, and we are looking at question 122 from the OG13 Critical Reasoning chapter. So the stimulus says, outsourcing is the practice of obtaining from an independent supplier a product or service that a company has previously provided for itself. Okay, it defines outsourcing for us, we know what that is. Since a company's chief objective is to realize the highest possible year-end profits, any product or service that can be obtained from an independent supplier for less than it would cost the company to provide the product or service on its own should be outsourced. So the argument basically says, since the objective of the company is to make as much profit as possible, any activity that can be outsourced for less cost than the company would incur if it were to carry out that activity by itself, such activity should be outsourced. That is basically the argument for us, and the question stem says we have to weaken the argument. So we have to say no, this should actually not be done. So let's go through the options and try to identify some problem with this strategy. A says, if a company decides to use independent suppliers for a product, it can generally exploit the vigorous competition arising among several firms that are interested in supplying that product. That's a good thing for the company. It will make even more profit then. What's the problem with that? B says, successful outsourcing requires a company to provide its suppliers with information about its products and plans that can fall into the hands of its competitors and give them a business advantage. That gives you a problem with following the outsourcing strategy, because then your profits can actually go down because your competitors come to know of your business plans, which they can then counter. So B is a very good answer, because it clearly weakens the argument. C says, certain tasks, such as processing a company's payroll, are commonly outsourced, whereas others, such as something, are not. It doesn't make any difference what is outsourced, what is not outsourced. We have to find a problem with the outsourcing strategy. C does not do that. So D says, for a company to provide a product or service for itself as efficiently as an independent supplier can provide, the managers involved need to be as expert in the area of that product or service as the people in charge of that product or service at an independent supplier are. So there's nothing to suggest that the managers will not be experts. They may be experts for all you know. So D also doesn't weaken the argument. E says, when a company decides to use an independent supplier for a product or service, the independent supplier sometimes hires members of the company's staff who formerly made the product or provided the service that the independent supplier now supplies. So what is the problem with this? I mean, this work is not being done. So you would say that the outsourcer will poach the company's employees. But the point is, he is poaching the employees who the company itself would have most likely laid off, because the company has outsourced those activities. So the employees who were doing those activities, I mean, why would the company need them anyway? So there is no poaching happening over here. So E also, while a lot of people would go with E cannot be the answer. The correct answer should be B, because it gives us a problem with the outsourcing strategy. I would give this question a difficulty level of 4 on 5. Have a nice day.